Hello, fellow CEOs. Welcome to the beginning series of using ClickUp. These are tutorials that I'm been putting together for you, focusing on one piece. So if you are, whether you're on the fence or you are like all in and you're just trying to learn more about ClickUp, either way, this series is going to be for you. So before we move on and I introduce our first topic here for this video, I am Kara Lee. I'm an operations manager for several six-figure CEOs. So I help streamline the behind the scenes. And one of those ways is using ClickUp to keep the team all in track. And also, you can help these solopreneurs be able to keep all these things on track as well and scale scale, right? Just plain and simple, be able to scale more easily because we started from, being solo to scaling. And so the very first thing that I want you to understand is ClickUp's hierarchy. That's the actual foundational structure of ClickUp. And when you understand the foundational structure of ClickUp, that's when you're able to really maximize the workspace itself. And so today we're going to be going over the actual structure of it. I'm going to give you literally use cases. I'm going to show you right inside the platform because that is how we do things around here. So we're going to go ahead and just simply get started right away. All right, so here on my screen, I have my demo space. This is a free space. A free space can have up to 5 spaces. Okay, so this is a workspace. This is the high level for the company. Okay, so like each company is going to have their own workspace. Okay, so like your company itself, right? Not each client, each company. All right, so even if you come up here, I have clients. They each have their own workspaces. Okay. And then you have now we're working inside of the workspace, right? These are considered your spaces. Okay, so we have the big workspace, which is this whole thing. Then we start breaking it down into spaces. Then if we actually open up any of these, so let's go operations, right? Then we have what we consider a folder here. Okay, we've got a folder. This one says finances. And so that is the next way that we can start breaking it down is a folder, right? So we have essentially the workspace is a whole company. Then we have the space, which is like an apartment per se, right? The bigger departments. And then we actually break it down to, let's say, a specific team inside of the department. Okay. And then we're able to break it down even more into the specific projects that team is actually working on. And so each project or set of things would be a list. Okay. So these are going to be considered lists. Okay. So I'm going to just walk you through how to create these too. So we have the workspace itself, right? Each company has its own workspace. Then we have each department or floor, however you want to say it, has their own space here. And then we have, if we open it up, we have folders. So like each team on that, in that department, right? And then we open it some more and we have each list, which is each project that team is working on. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I tried to break it down as simple as possible, but this is how we can do this. This is also like kind of similar to how you could potentially set up a Google Drive, right? But this is going to be much more robust than a Google Drive because of its functionality. All right, Google Drive is mostly for storage. ClickUp is for actually managing projects. Okay, so those are different, but you kind of can arrange it in the same way as far as when it comes to the hierarchy. All right, so now we're going to create this. So this space is actually missing my SOP space. I like to have a space for SOPs, but you can create your spaces however you choose. So you're going to come here to that little arrow, and now we're going to create the space. So I said, welcome to, I don't understand. My keyboard was playing games on me. So SOPs, here we go. And then you can put a description here. I don't usually, but you can put what it's used for, right? Documenting processes. There we go. Documenting processes. And now SOPs, you're probably going to want the entire team to see, right? You're going to want everyone to see this space, have access to it. Or if you want to limit access, you're going to want to make it private. And then only people that you invite to it are going to have access. Okay. Up to you. But we're going to press continue. It's going to bring up the next window, right? These are for SOPs. So we're not really using it for any of these things, right? So we're actually going to just put it for a starter. All right. Because we're really just documenting different processes inside of this and not for huge, essentially project management, but you get to choose which one makes the most sense for you. Then you can come down here and have these things as the default, right? You can update the task statuses. Now you can edit these afterward as well, so don't worry about that. But this is the what different types of views are you going to want? A list, right? Literally like a to-do list. Or do you want like a Kanban board? Do you need a calendar view, right? Those are what these views are going to show you. Then the task statuses. What is the process in which things are going to be going through? So essentially in this space, we're documenting SOPs, which means we're going to have the name of the SOP and then as the task, and then we're going to walk it through the process, right? It's in a to-do status, which means it hasn't been started. Then it's in progress, right? We're working on it, and then we'll move it to complete, okay, when it's done. So those statuses are absolutely fine. However, you can also use their custom built ones right here if you would like, or add your own literally right here in any process that you want. Okay? Whoops. Well, we're going to start over. So this happens sometimes where I just decided to hit the wrong button. That was 100% on me. Okay, now here we're going back to ClickUp's. Here's the ClickUp's. You have to have these enabled in your workspace. I'll go over this in a different video, but you can enable the ones that you want to enable or turn them off, right, of course. And then we're going to create this space. Now it's created it right here. It says SOPs, right? This is more of a dashboard for this, an overview, right, if you will, of this space, right? So that way anything below it can kind of be gathered on here in like a workload status. Now we just created it, so you're not seeing anything here, but you can keep track of everyone in that quote unquote department, right? The status of their things and who's working on what. Okay, so we created this space. Now it automatically puts a list in it, but I want to have an extra layer, right? I'm going to document these SOPs a little differently. Okay, so I'm going to press this little arrow and we're actually going to form or create a folder, and I'm going to put marketing SOPs. Okay, for example, you can do whatever you want. Now we're going to use the space statuses. That's totally fine. Or you can click these and use custom statuses. All right, so we're going to inherit the statuses from the space though, and we're going to keep it public. We're going to press create SOPs. So now inside of this folder, we're going to have all the marketing SOPs that need created, right? Essentially, maybe they're from different teams, so we're tracking them in different lists. Okay, now this is just an example of SOPs. It's not necessarily how you're going to do all the things. So here we have a list that's literally just living in this space, but we can actually delete that one if we want, because we want them all in folders, right? So we have the space of SOPs, right? Now we're bringing it down to marketing SOPs. Maybe you have operations SOPs, right? As another folder. Like, let's go ahead and just create that folder really quickly, right? Operations, right? Well, I put SOPs at the end of them just to make it a little easier for myself. Now we're creating that one. It has its own list. So now we have a space SOPs, and we are going to break down marketing SOPs, operations SOPs, right? We're breaking these things down and we're going to document these each on a list. Okay, for example, now we've created the list, right? If you want to create another list, you just simply go to the folder, click it, and click list, name the list, okay? Or you can simply rename this one right here and rename it. All right, but we're not going to worry about the names at this moment. So, but here you could put like how to name an asset, how to name an asset for social, for example. That could be an SOP that you need to create. It could be a part of a larger one. So, you could always pop in here and start creating some subtasks to make sure that we're documenting different things. Or you can use the description here to kind of like keep things moving, right? This is your task. All right. Now this task is going to be able to have deadlines. It's going to be able to have priorities. It's going to be able to have an assignee. I'm not really sure why assignee's not showing up here, but you can come over here and add assignee, right? But we're just working through the basics in this video, okay? So we have the larger one here of SOPs that we break it down into folders to segment a little bit more. And then we're segmenting even farther inside of these lists. And then we're creating these tasks in order to be able to keep track of things as far as deadlines, who's assigned to them, and all the progress and things like that. All right. So this is the 4 and then 5 if you count the task itself, parts of the hierarchy. All right. So we are very easily able to continue this demonstration here. These are the understanding this hierarchy is going to be super, super powerful for you to be able to really streamline your workspace inside of ClickUp, right? So you're going to want to understand, like, what do you even need to keep track of in here in order to then figure out how you're going to organize your workspace, right? And so just understanding that basis of the hierarchy allows you to go, oh, okay, well, if I know how to organize Google Drive, it's almost the same hierarchy, but we're keeping track of, like, the tasks are very different than like in Google Drive, right? We're keeping track of more when it gets to the task. And I'll do another video on how to like really use all those tasks and things like that. But if you have any questions about actually setting up your hierarchy, I encourage you to comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, this is like the very first video in this series. So I want to make sure that you don't miss the next ones that are going to be released over the next few weeks. And if they're already released, go ahead and binge watch them and set up your workspace. But if you're like, I really just want someone to support me with this, I do have a ClickUp Power Up Intensive that is available to you to opt into. It is a one-on-one service that is done with you, and we completely customize your ClickUp together for your specific needs for your business, help you identify what those all are, really get it set up like to the nitty-gritty, automations, all those things in essentially a few sessions. So from start to finish, your workspace should be set up in roughly a week to 2 weeks and fully functional for you to really get to be more efficient and productive in your business and then ultimately in your life. So that way you can save some more time and just feel way more organized. All right. So drop all your questions below. What else do you want to see about ClickUp? And I will ensure that I get some videos up for you. Bye for now.